If you haven't been keeping up with the channel, you're not subscribing, just a real quick recap. My name is Cameron Skinner, and I am trying to figure out how to build a game, and I'm breaking it down into a number of different steps. And the first step I'm doing is I'm gonna emulate and recreate the World at War, the Call of Duty World at War Nazi Zombies map. And today I'm gonna go into kind of where I'm at with that. I've been really focusing in on not just cranking that out. I could just build out the assets that I need to do that, but I'm actually more interested in figuring out how to build up some procedural systems such that I can create a map, make it art directable, and be able to generate multiple maps with that system. I'm gonna take that Nazi Zombies map and recreate that, but I wanna come out the other end with something that's even more broadly applicable and more reusable for some future projects. I'm doing that because I wanna learn not just, how do I crank out that one level? I wanna learn the skills required to build lots of different levels and generate assets in a procedural way, because I'm a single game dev trying to build a big game here, and so I'm a true believer in the work smarter not harder kind of meme, and so that's what I'm going to be doing here. So without further ado, let me show you where I'm at with that. So the first thing I did is I jumped into the Nazi Zombies game and I went into this like God mode in order to take a bunch of screenshots of the map. And what you see here on the screen is kind of like a bird's eye view of the building that the game is taking place in. And I wanted to get a good understanding of what that building looks like, because I got to recreate that. And so I jumped in here, and you'll notice, I basically want to get the footprint of the building. It looks like this. And the building's got some internal walls. I think that's a stairwell, etc. Okay, so I got in there, got that understood. And then inside the building as well is all these columns, right? And so I immediately wanted to just say, okay, I gotta break that down. There's multiple levels to this building, but I'm gonna work on the first level first. And so here, as I jump over to Houdini, is the first level, and you'll see the little guy there that's kind of showing you scale, and this is basically the first level. And what is interesting about this right now is that not that I've actually built the first level in Houdini, it's more that this is procedurally generated based on a curve which describes the footprint of the building and then where I should place the columns. And so I can crank up the size, the height of those columns. I can mess with the width of the columns, play with the width of the walls, etc. But I can also drop in something completely different. So this is kind of the footprint for the Nazi Zombies thing, but if I drag, say, something like this over there, boom, I've got like a completely different, I'll drag in the columns, a completely different level with the same exact system, right? And this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I spent some time doing this week. So let me drop the Nazi Zombies level back in here, and then I took this a step further as well. So now clearly this is just a rough out. We're not going to go pushing the game out into Unreal with just this. But what this gives me the ability to do is I can drop in, instead of these blocks or these boxes for the columns, I then wanted to create, if we go back over here and look at these columns, I wanted to be able to generate those columns as well, in order to get some base assets that I can then go sculpt on and make even more unique. And I did that also in Unreal. So if I come back over here, turn off this guy and turn on this, I created basically a column generator, right? Let me unpin this, select that guy. I created a generation, a system here where I can even just change the seed, and you'll see this thing auto update. But I can also jump in here and turn off things. So I can just say, I just want to view the edge damage, and I want to be able to tweak that edge damage in a certain way here by saying, okay, let's increase the amount. And you'll see it takes a second to generate. But as you see how it's changing there, I can also say, okay, I'm going to increase the height. I just want to change it a bit, right? Just get a different look. Now I'm going to turn off that. I'm going to turn on the surface damage. And then in this particular case, I can say, all right, I want to expand this, maybe contract it a little bit. I'm going to increase the noise a bit. So now, okay, this is looking a little too scraggly, but the idea is I just want to get a bunch of different looks. And I've set it up so I can, even generate the armature and actually even bend it. So, this kind of thing. Because I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but I want to be able to make this art directable, maybe even twist it. Right? And then what I can do once I get a certain look, say I get this to a certain point, I tweak all these things and get that where I want to be, I can then output this. So let me jump in here and let me just, save this out. So I'm just going to save that to disk. And now I'm going to go back out of this, back over to my map, right? And bring in that column. And so now if I undo this, select my map, now I've got those internal columns. So now I want to replace these boxes with those auto-generated columns that I just did. So I'm going to add this guy and I'm going to go and grab the final geo from the output there. And boom, I've got that column that I just auto-generated into my map here. I can also do that on the exterior pillars too. Grab the same guy and pull that in. And so you can see where I'm going here, hopefully, where now I can say, all right, I still want to be able to control the height. I want to be able to control the column width, etc. And the walls, I'll get to generating the walls. But if I generate out a bunch of these columns, then all these become unique assets, and I can just get to a point where, I've got that look that I'm looking for. So I hope you can see kind of why I'm taking the time to figure out, Houdini and this art of procedural generation. It's not to just get lost in the beauty and the complexity of what it takes to create a procedural system. But it is about how do I break this thing down so that I can generate out the pieces and then, be able to tweak it and make it look the way I want it to look. One of the best things about this approach is that you can iterate on different looks. You can iterate on different feels. That's the thing I'm looking for, because at the end of the day, I've got some ideas, but I need to play with the clay. I need to manipulate it. I need to see how it looks. And I need to not just go with the first thing I see. I want to try a bunch of different things. And this approach allows me to do that. Allows me to generate out a bunch of assets, see them in game even, and then take a break, come back the next day and see if I still like what I thought was super hot the day before. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. See you next week.